cool and staying safe and stay out the way. That's
Okay.
about it. And just thankful to see another day.
Well, we have a special guest in the building with us. You want to introduce our
Yes.
next guest?
Yes, today we have Mrs. Whitney Jones. When I tell you Whitney Jones is what they say, like a car, a jack of all trades, she's a human with all trades. I mean, Whitney knows just about everything. She done it all. She is a native from Tulsa, Oklahoma. She's actually the first to start the cannabis clinic here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And she has many other details that we're going to talk about on the show. I don't need to go into everything, but we're going to start off by letting Whitney come in and introduce herself. Hey, hey, hey,
Hey,
Whitney.
friends. Oh, I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not excited about the heat because
No,
that
no.
came out of nowhere.
No, the heat makes you turn red, right?
It's so red. And I had this thing like a few years ago where they gave me some medicine and it freaked my skin out. So now like direct sunlight breaks me out in these blisters.
Oh my God! I'm surprised you haven't came up with
It's
a
wild.
cannabis something for that.
Girl, I use cannabis pain cream for that.
Okay,
But if they had some kind of preventative, that would be ideal.
Oh yeah, that would be real good.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Whitney, tell us a little bit about you. To just dive in there, give us an introduction of who you are, what you're about, and tell us everything that we need to know about you.
And so my husband and I and my partners own Tulsa Higher Care Clinic, also the Higher Care Clinic, depending on what state you're in. But here in Oklahoma, we're Tulsa Higher Care Clinic. We opened the day after the vote. So we've certified over 200,000 patients in now 5 states. So
I was one of them.
Right. It's been me too. It's been super exciting. But transitioning from that into what we now do is membership. We still do medical marijuana cards, right? So come get your card if you need it, thc2.com. But we also do membership healthcare, right? Which is something my parents are self-employed, right? And have been my whole life. So we grew up with no health insurance.
Oh.
Right. And so, I mean, people don't tell you that, right? Your kid, breaks his arm in football, and who's paying for that if you don't have health insurance, right?
Self-pay, right?
Right. And so, one of the first passion projects that we had through the clinic was what we call membership healthcare. So you can pay $50 a month and see a doctor whenever you want to.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Wow.
It's
at the clinic.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
Say that again.
Yeah, Stephen, $50 a month. You can see a doctor whenever you want to.
Yes, at the Tulsa Higher
Clinic.
Yeah. Well, then what's the clinic called again?
Tulsa Higher Care Clinic.
Okay.
So we're at 1924 East 6th Street. We moved about 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So we're closer to downtown now.
Yeah.
So you can see a doctor about what?
Well, almost anything, friend. So I like to tell people like this. If you cut yourself with a knife and you need a couple stitches, we got you. If you got a knife in your head, we don't got you.
Okay.
I watch too much Grey's Anatomy, so I'm just going to say that right now. But my point is, like all the things you go to minor emergency for that you don't need, that are obviously non-surgical, right? So a lot of our patients are people who have asthma regularly and just need to see a doctor every month to get a prescription, right? Or they've got kids that need regular allergy medicine, or they need physicals for school, or they've got a sinus infection, or during the winter, it's a lot of like flu, cold, that kind of stuff. And then we do flu, vaccines and that kind of thing in the appropriate time of the year. But it's all just whatever you would go to your normal like family doctor for.
And it's $50 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's $100 a month for a family. And we classify a family as anybody who lives in the same household.
Okay.
No matter the age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right.
And so are there any limits on the services?
Like
the number of times?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Not at all. It's truly just what you need it for. So our only limitation is what we can see you for, meaning that, again, friend, if you're surgical, we're going to have to send you to the hospital anyways.
Okay.
Right. So we can't take care, like we can't set your broken arm.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, but doc can splint your sprained wrist.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, normal things that you would still have to go to the emergency room, we would send you to the emergency room from our office anyways.
Okay.
But most of our patients come there first just because now we're your cannabis friendly family physician.
Okay.
Right.
So you don't have to have a medical card to come in. Okay.
Oh, no, not at all. Okay. And half of our patients don't have med cards.
Okay.
Right. Okay. We also do men's health. So like low testosterone, several conditions that men face, like because Doc and Perry are owners of the clinic, that was a passion project for them, is how many older men have issues and they don't want to talk about it or they don't have anybody to talk to about it. And so they really have created an environment that's, more comfortable for that.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. Same thing. It's like $50 a month.
Oh man.
Awesome.
Right.
You guys do COVID testing too?
Yeah.
With us just talking about,
We do rapid testing.
Oh, okay.
Is there a waiting period after you pay the $50?
No, friend. So like if you're not already a member and you need to see a doctor today, then you just come in and pay your $50.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So all our listeners out there, if you need
50?
a doctor, yes.
Yeah,
all the time.
Tulsa Higher Clinic, and they actually move closer towards downtown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that way we just had it's just, you know how it is, friend, moving around.
Oh,
and we had all of our businesses in several buildings before. So we now are fortunate that we've moved into a complex on 6th Street that everything is in one location.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And
That
so
is
we're not driving all
true.
over town anymore.
Yeah.
But then also for our patients, it now means that we've brought in people that can do IVs. So,
okay.
right, like I get an IV once a week because I don't drink enough water.
Oh,
It's one of my goals for the year, y'all. Like I'm trying to do 100 ounces a day. But you know how hard it is to drink water?
And the $50?
Yeah, so on the membership healthcare, babe, you can still do an IV, but it's an extra like $25 when you come in, depending on what IV, like what vitamin blend you want, right?
Okay.
So if you come in and you do saline only, it's covered under your $50. But if you want to do like the Myers blend, then you pay the extra $40 for the vitamins.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Mhm.
So how often do you get the IV?
I do them every week.
Okay.
But I don't drink. I mean, so for the last 19 days, I've drank 100 ounces of water a day.
Woo!
Right. It's a whole.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's so hard.
Because I'm a Coke addict.
Ugh,
and
I
like
love
Coca-Cola
Pepsi.
people. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, let's clear that up. Let's clear that up right now.
And I have a hard time drinking water.
I know. I love Pepsi
Man.
so much. Pepsi and Starbucks. And so it has been. It's been tough.
Yes.
But it makes me feel so much better. And I didn't realize like all of the side effects of dehydration until I started getting IVs and was like, crap, I'm not tired. I'm just dehydrated.
Right. It makes a big difference.
Inflammation. My ankles have been swollen for a while. And one of the things that the doctor told me is the inflammation. And he said I was dehydrated. I'm like, but I drink a lot of water. Well, not a lot, but I do drink water.
You might
Well,
need more.
and then and Doc reminds me that for each thing you drink that's non-water, you have to drink more water.
Right. Oh, like that. To erase that, you need to drink that amount to eliminate that, and then drink more water. Yeah,
that's why I've been doing the 100 ounces of water because I'm still doing like 3 Pepsis a day.
Wow.
I know.
No. I need to log that. I need to do 100 ounces because I literally do 3 Cokes a day too. Look, I'm sorry we interrupt. Okay, so you told us about the Tulsa Higher Clinic, which is awesome. And thank you. Thank you for helping us make it
I'm telling you.
affordable for people to be able to have insurance because there's a lot of people that don't. You know?
You said Tulsa Higher Clinic?
Higher Care Clinic.
Higher Care.
Yeah, THC squared.
Okay.
Everybody knows us as THC2, THC squared.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah,
in almost all states.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Doc did a fabulous job coming up with that.
He did. You had someone help you with that?
So Dr. Sims is one of our partners, right?
Oh, okay.
And so when we all first met to be partners, I was like, listen, you guys, I don't care what we call the clinic, but I want it to be THC squared.
Okay.
And so then Doc came up with Tulsa Higher Care Clinic, and then we could transition it to the Higher Care Clinic. We own Texas Higher Care Clinic, Tennessee Higher Care Clinic, right? All the things that start with T.
Oh, wow.
Right. So that as those states come online, we go online.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're trying to expand our membership healthcare into those states for the same reason, right? Like in Missouri, half of our patients don't have health insurance.
Wow.
Right. And so a lot of the issues that they face later could have been prevented if you could just afford a doctor to see as preventative care.
Right. Definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Lack of access to healthcare.
Yes.
Huge soapbox of mine.
Yeah. No. And it's definitely needed. So that is so good. Now, what is the other things? I know that's one of the many.
Oh, yeah. And so we also own same thing down on 6th Street, Studio 30.
Okay.
We are an event center that's indoor cannabis friendly.
Okay.
And so we do like this Sunday, we have a bring your own pool party event.
Oh, bring your own pool party.
I know, friend, listen.
Wow.
So we have this giant parking lot, okay, and a warehouse, but the warehouse isn't air conditioned. So I was like, well, what could we do? You know what you could do? Bring your own pool party day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
and it's like community oriented, right? Like letting the community know.
Yeah, so it's a free event. We just had people register for tickets because all of our events sell out and our parking is always an issue.
Oh.
So we try to limited on the tickets, but we're essentially filling a parking lot full of, like mini blow up pools and all the different things. We've got a couple of sponsors that put up big pools, like just kind of like the wading pool type situation. Right. And then we've got vendors coming out that are setting up and doing all kinds of fun things.
Wow. Oh, wow. So when is this Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay, listeners, 12 to 6.
Yeah, Crumbly's will be out doing brunch because we normally do blunts and brunch on Sundays.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's neat. Okay. Now, and will they be able to sign up as well there?
So we don't have any, we don't do door fees or any of that kind of stuff. There's no membership.
Oh, okay.
We have like 4 events a year that we charge for. And one of them is our New Year's Eve event, right? So it's like a sit down dinner. So
okay.
But I mean, nothing that's ever more than $25 for a ticket.
Okay.
And only like 4 times a year. The other 360 days, it's free.
Okay. So this one is a free event.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. And what do they bring? Do they bring anything?
Your pool.
Oh, yeah. Your pool. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Wow. Ooh, bring a pool.
I know. I don't know if y'all remember, there was a bar over on 11th Street, the Route 66 bar across from what's now 918 Coffee.
Okay.
I'm talking about. They did a bring your own pool party like 5 years ago. And it was one of the funnest things I went to.
Wow.
And so when we were thinking about events, I was like, well, we have a parking lot like they did that we could do this.
Wow. Yeah. So you got a big parking lot.
Well, Sunday is 7:10. So it's kind of like the 4:20 of concentrates.
Yes.
Right. And so all of our sponsors and vendors are mostly concentrated brands. Right. Mm-hmm. So like Apothecary is a huge brand that they have a booth at our event and they're doing a whole thing for patients. And
wow. Right. So it's like a 411.
Like 420.
420. I mean, That's okay. Okay, listeners, bear with me. Okay, Wendy, so what else is up your sleeve? Because I go to you for everything.
I know. So we do commercial real estate, residential real estate. We broker cannabis businesses. So if you have a business that you're trying to sell, call me.
Right.
But also the moratorium's going into place August 1st, right? For business licensing through the OMMA. Mm-hmm. So if you don't already have a license after August 1st, you have to wait 2 years to try to get one again.
Oh my God!
So
2 years?
Right. So the last few weeks have been slammed because everybody's trying to get a license now before the moratorium goes into place.
Wow.
So if you need a license, call me.
Okay, y'all hear that? So if you're trying to get into the cannabis business, call Whitney. Now, what's your number, Whitney?
918-814-9036. Okay. It's already all over the internet. It has been forever.
Okay. What are some of the things that if a person wants to get into that business, what are some things that they need to do to be ready to apply?
So your biggest issue normally is location and money.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Top 2 things. Yeah. Because if you want to be a grower, no matter how you want to grow and what process you're using, you're spending $200,000 in lights and build out. And if you're growing indoors, right. And so, I mean, there's just a huge expense depending on what part of the industry you're going to be in. But even with dispensaries, right. You have to spend money to fill the shelves.
Right.
You have to do the build out and you have to get a COC through the city. And like in the city of Tulsa, that's a 14-week process, in case y'all didn't know.
Oh,
okay. Right.
No, I didn't know.
Right. I mean,
but I heard it's pretty lengthy.
So
I heard it goes past the 14 weeks.
Do they have enough time to get a license then for August 1st at this point?
Depending on their location.
Okay.
Oh, so the location makes you.
Well, yeah, because there are some cities and counties right now that you can go get a COC in the same day.
For that city. Okay.
Wow.
Because they don't have any regulations, right? Most of those clients have like farms out in like Okmulgee County.
Okay.
Right. Like that's a great example. Right. Okay. So if I want to put a grow on my 20 acres out in Okmulgee County, they don't send you through 9 weeks of inspections.
Oh, that's Tulsa County.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because most of those grows, friend, if you're going through the COC process, you're going through the city. And that means you're trying to put a business in the city.
Okay.
Right.
A grow in the city.
Right. And there's several of them, but just like any other business you put in the city, that's the whole reason that, I am strongly for regulation in that sense, right? Because there are some people that are doing volatile extraction, right? That I want to know that the fire marshal came through your building.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's just like you would with any other manufacturing business, any other retail business,
right?
Any other agricultural business. They're not doing anything to cannabis businesses that they're not doing to every other business.
That's true.
In that sense.
That's true.
So
go get you some land in Okmulgee County. That's the easiest process.
Most of them.
And but I think you also got to know it because I'm telling you, 2 big doctors. I don't know. I can't remember their name. They bought a house probably about maybe 4 miles down on my street. They went all in. And now they're empty. So I think you got to know the market, right?
Well, and I mean, also there's a strong argument to be made specifically for growing that you really have to know what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, that's not one of those businesses that, I mean, you can learn, and I know a lot of people that have, but I'm going to tell you that I can't keep houseplants alive. So I'm not going to make a $250,000 investment and try to learn to grow. Like, that's just not something, and it's not something we recommend to clients. Right. Because if all you have is this life savings of you and your husband's, it is my obligation and duty to tell you that this is not going to be the easiest way to spend your $250,000.
Right. Okay.
Unless your husband's been growing for 20 years.
Right.
And I know a lot of people like that are extremely successful now because they have plenty of experience in other states where it was legal before now. Right. But a lot of our clients get caught up in compliance. Right. Just like with bars, right? You have specific able licensing requirements and then laws and regulations past that. And it's the same thing with the OMMA. So a lot of it is just a lack of knowledge. And then a lot of it is that the OMMA and other agencies that they're working with can't necessarily figure out what the rule is. So if you call one of them, you get one answer. And if you call somebody else, you get another answer. And so.
Yeah, it's not consistency.
Right. And it will, I mean, I assume that it will get better now that the OMMA is going to be its own standalone agency, but there are a lot of issues with the new seed to sale tracking system that most of our clients are dealing with. That metric.
Dang. I know. It's like it seems like they kind of want the control of.
Well, they're just trying to make sure, friend, that you're not growing 100,000 pounds and selling 90,000 of it out the back door to the black market.
Right.
And I understand it. Okay. I'm not against seed to sale tracking. I am against the way that they implemented it and gave you literally no support as a business owner.
What type of support would you recommend that they give?
Well, friend, I should at least be able to call Metric and somebody on the phone should be able to answer my question.
Right.
If instead you tell me to call the OMMA and then the OMMA tells me to call Metric, well, then who has the answer?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's some of them are really important things that, like, I mean, something as simple as attaching your testing to your product in the system, right? So the product was tested. You did that properly, but either you or the lab didn't know how to attach it properly in Metric. And so now it looks like you have non-tested product. Well, that matters because as a dispensary owner, if I can't get product for 3 or 4 weeks because people can't get it into Metric, how am I staying in business?
Right.
Same thing. If I'm a small grower and I depend on this money and I've been sitting on $40,000 of product because I can't get it properly put into Metric, you know what I mean? There's just some issues there that they could have helped small business owners much before now.
Right. And then I always see more fees.
Oh, yeah, they've increased fees. But you should have done that was quick. I mean, $2,500 for the cheapest in the nation for a very long time. Like that, I feel like if you're a business owner in the industry, you should have known that was coming to an end at some point.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I didn't realize it was going to last that long.
So what are the fees now?
Well, $2,500 across the board. No matter what license you want, it's $2,500. And when you renew, it's $2,500. After January 1st, all of those change. But like Mississippi just came online and their dispensary license is $40,000.
Are you serious?
Right. You see when I say, friend, $2,500 cheapest in the nation, I mean by far.
Oh, no. When I seen it, because Californians, nothing. It's not $2,500. No,
in all other states, they're 6-figure numbers.
Yeah.
Right. And they want you to have millions of dollars in liquid assets. And I mean, there's a lot of requirements that they put into place to make it impossible for a lot of people in a lot of other states.
Right.
So I can appreciate that the low number here allowed anybody to be a business owner.
Right.
Right. But the problem with that is that now you have a lot of people who invested their life savings and they didn't know how to run a business. And now they're trying to get their money back out and get out. And so it's tough because there just needs to be more education.
Definitely. Even on the side of, I just experienced it with my brother, even though you saved them,
Thank you.
with trying to buy houses,
right.
Businesses.
No one tells you that if you are a W-2 employee in the cannabis industry, you may or may not be able to get a bank loan for your house.
Right.
Like there's just some like nuanced things like that it shouldn't be this hard. Right. You're a W-2 employee.
Right.
Period.
So how should they anybody who's in the business and hired employees, how should they do that, Wendy? How should they?
Well, I mean, the hardest thing, friend, is that most people going to work for someone don't know what they're supposed to be looking for or not looking for. And they have no idea that 3 years from now, they're going to want to buy a house and this is going to be a problem.
Right.
Right. But just so you know, in the instance that you have the word cannabis on your paycheck stub or on your W-2, it could be an issue with most banks, right? That being said, again, if you need help with that, I got you.
Right. And the cannabis people is the ones that need to incorporate it in something else, right?
Right. So, I mean, we normally, our attorneys work with our clients so that they have a different setup than just strictly an LLC with a cannabis name.
Right.
Because that's going to be the hardest way to operate as a business owner. Right. That being said, depending on your business structure, right? I mean, it really takes a one-on-one meeting with one of our attorneys to figure out what that needs to look like and what it needs to be so that it's also not any kind of fraud. Right. Like if you're not actually going to have a management company and be managing your companies, then we can't set up a management company for you.
Right. But you should.
You should.
Cannabis company.
I always should, friend.
Right.
Always, especially because most of our clients own properties. Right. And so those businesses that you're renting to should be renting from your management company. Right.
Not everything compiled in the cannabis company. But people don't know that. So listeners, you might need to call Wendy. It's a lot of things that you have to really, because people just excited. And I get it. You know what I mean? Like you said, $2,500, start your business and something you've been doing all your life illegally and you finally can do it legit. Hello, let me dive in that business and let me set up shop. But now it's like you got to learn it's different type of entities that you got to put these businesses in at LLC, especially if you're going to hire employees so they can go out and grow as well. Because the one thing about it, if you're growing and not letting your employee grow, that's a stuck. That's basically like working a 9 to 5 for somebody else. At least you can give them hope. Like, hey, man, working for me, you can own a house someday. You can own your own cannabis business someday. But if they can't get past that level of just being an employee at your cannabis station, where's the growth?
Well, but on top of that, friend, part of the problem is that, again, because of the $2,500 threshold, you have a lot of people who've never operated a business. Right. So they didn't know how to pay employees properly. Right. And so a lot of the calls that we get are clients that got a letter from the OTC that you owe $70,000 and they're going to shut your business down in the next 10 days.
God.
Right. So it's what we focus on most with our clients in the beginning is compliance, right? And making sure that your sales tax return or your sales tax number is applied for, that you're filing your monthly sales tax, that you're paying your employees properly. And most of the time we always recommend you hire a payroll company. There are payroll companies that are super affordable, in town. Right. There's no reason not to. Right. That being said, there are some companies that are national that are very expensive. You should shy away from them.
Yeah. Well, I love Red River. So shout out to Red River.
Great. Same, friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if we could do that. Yeah. But I totally agree with you.
Yeah, no, shout your 100%. Company out. That's the only way you grow.
On cannabis CPAs, friend, we always recommend Cindy. Y'all know Cindy McGee, Next Gen Tax.
Yes.
She fire.
Yeah.
Fire. And she does, hundreds of cannabis businesses in the state. So she's very familiar with the setup and what's required.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. That's good for our listeners to know that you got to be able to know where to go and know how to market it and know how to grow your company. Because if you don't, you'll be in some trouble, right?
Well, and in our industry, friend, it's just hard because, as you know, there are some radio stations that our clients can't even advertise with. Because they won't allow them to advertise
radio, TV,
like those Hulu 30-second ads that they make you watch.
Yeah,
they won't let us have one, and we're a doctor's office.
Oh man! So you tried that avenue?
Yeah, we tried it. We did a lot.
Yeah, you got to. You have to
because some things worked, and like those up with tree signs and like those signs on the side of the highway that's like, "Hey, this highway was cleaned by this company." They don't let you do those either.
Wow.
ODOT, they're still mad about cannabis.
They still mad? Yeah. A lot of people are, even banks, a lot of people is not on board with cannabis. And, and I don't know, I just see a lot of plus to it because, I have a special needs child and I'm telling you, some of those edibles are really good, as far as sleeping, he barely used to sleep 8 hours a day, probably 3 or 4. You take him one of those, he really sleeps. And you can see a big difference. You can see, the way he functions, even compared to when I was dealing with this camp. We don't have to give him one every day, but he functions as a normal person. Where another kid is coming in there cranky, and I ask, what's going on? Oh, they didn't get enough sleep last night. But I'm not going to promote it because that's not my job. Right. But those are some of the things they need to look into, to see what's going on with the child's, how to just the natural way, instead of drugs like they want to give you at the doctor's office. Like that was the first thing. So as he was diagnosed,
always.
I'm like, no, negative. We got to figure out
up your kid.
Yes,
it's always what they want to do.
No, and it's like it is sad because it makes a kid mind grow up to think that they need the drugs. Mm-hmm. And as you know, society now, most of the kids between the era of least, I want to say 17 to maybe 30, they're drugs. They love them. It's like a addiction, and it's like, okay, what happened? But when you start off at the doctor's offices and they they're promoting you. I'm serious. I have to say no so many times. Well, take it home and just think about it because it could really help the kid. And I'm like, what part do you not understand? No. So it's really bad. It's, I don't know how you feel about it.
Like 60, I think last time Doc told me it's like 68% of our patients are 65 or older because they're so tired of taking so many pharmaceuticals that they just want anything else.
Right.
And so, it's why I think that most of our patients that are in person, right? Like that, those are our in-person patients, those and our pediatric patients.
Okay.
Right. So we have, while there are a lot of people out here that are like, well, Whitney, Oklahoma doesn't have a medical program. It's a recreational program in disguise. And maybe to some people that's true. Right. Mm-hmm. But 90% of our patients are in legitimate need, and it has done life-changing things for their family. Mm-hmm. And so whether it's done that for you or not, you have to at least appreciate that there are kids that are not out here doped up all the time on pharmaceuticals and that literally can sleep with 2 milligrams of THC, right? Like nothing that's going to be,
right.
You know what I mean?
No.
The point is never to get someone high.
Right.
It is truly to treat their condition. And for kids, we always recommend that they balance it with the CBD so that they truly never get high. Right. And you're just using it for sleep, for seizures, for whatever condition it is that your child has.
Yeah, mine was sleep. He could never, they diagnosed him with sleeping, sleeping. He just could never sleep. It was to the point where I wasn't sleeping. I had to put alarms and install cameras because 3:00 he wired up. Let's go. And I'm like, oh no. So yeah, no, I totally understand. The older generation, like my father-in-law, has a perception of it's. He just think it as a bad word, dope. And I'm like, come on, man, it is. You have to change because you have so many pills, and he won't take the pills either. He's fighting cancer, and he's like, I don't want to take all these pills, and I don't want to do all this. And it's like but other people that is on cancer, like you need to try. Cannabis. You need to look into because it made me feel totally different. I don't feel like I got to go to chemo treatments. I don't feel like I got to take all these drugs that come with the chemo because they give you so many drugs on top of chemo. It's like, how does your body take all this? I don't get it, and he don't like taking it. He has tons of it. And I'm just like, have you took any of that? Nope. I ain't taking none of it. It's like a mind thing with him, which is good, but a lot of people can't do that. If they in pain, they want the drugs, He calls me last week. My finger's been burning. We've been taking a break from chemo, and he could feel the tingling and the stinging in his finger and his numbness. So I said, well, are you going to, I could call the doctor all day long, but they're going to prescribe you pills. Are you going to take it? He's like, no. So deal with the pain, so it's like, what do you do? So yeah.
So I only take Tylenol 5 times a year.
Yeah.
I don't even do Tylenol that, because just stuff it's just everything is so bad for you.
Yeah.
And they don't, it's hard for me because I truly believe your body was built to heal itself.
Yes.
Right. And so there are things we can do. Obviously there are some things that are going to need intervention.
Right.
But my point is I'm not quick to just take a bunch of Tylenol when I have a headache.
Right.
I stop to be like, well, did I have enough water today? Have I eaten today?
Yes.
Just different things that so many people jump to pills and we don't have to.
Yeah. And come to find out, I seen on Facebook, Tylenol is the reason behind autism. It's just you get so many, please fill out this survey so we can get your information, so we can contact you and see how this affect if you took Tylenol when you were pregnant and your child has autism now. It's like, seriously, so it's like, you don't even know what the pharmaceutical drugs today that's covered by the FDA. It's like, how do we know what's good going into our body now? We don't. So it's like, hey, we need to all shift toward the natural products that's been grown outside. Back in the old days, that's what they did. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they had medicine.
Yeah, they used herbs. They made stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah, Doc in his Dr. Sims, who is my partner, my business partner, collects like old like cannabis artifacts type things, right? So like he has a medicine bottle that they used to use like in 18 something, right? And it literally is labeled with cannabis on, with
wow.
Right. Like, and they used to use it for medicine. And so he's got all kinds of things like that he's building a cannabis museum that will be down at the complex in the next couple of years as soon as I can figure out how to do a nonprofit.
Right.
But, right.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work than I thought.
Oh,
right.
Tell me about it.
So, but he's just gotten so many cool things in the last 4 years that I think it would be incredible to have that kind of stuff accessible to the public for free, right? That you can learn more about it. And so it's just it's exciting to me every time we get something new,
right? And education is the key,
always, to everything.
Instead of knocking something, read about it, learn about it, figure out if it's really causing a cure for something, instead of looking at the bad that it has, that people think are the stigma that comes with it. Actually read about it to see what changes it has. Man, so wow, that's another one-stop shop. If you're in need of that as well, you can always come check you out. It was one more thing though. You had the Moto Photo.
Oh yeah, Finn. So we have 2 event spaces over on 6th Street, the warehouse at 1924 and 1924 Creative. So we use those spaces to do like dinner parties, weddings. You know what I mean? Like fun, bigger space. It's a bigger space than the studio.
Okay.
So it gives us bigger capacity. Okay. And then we own Moto Photo Booth because I got tired of paying for photo booths.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, photo booth rental. And then I was like, you know what? And I'm going to make this cheaper.
Right.
And so
affordable.
Our prices are the lowest in the state for photo booths for that reason, because as somebody who owns event centers, it is insane to me the amount of money that people charge you for things.
Oh, wow.
Like table rentals, chair rentals, like, you know what I mean? Like just things that, as an event center, if you're fortunate enough, like we are, to have a warehouse and have the space that you can store those things, then that's great. But if not, and you're having to pay for it every time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's expensive. So we really tried to find things like that we could offer to our clients at a way lower cost, and then be able to use ourselves and not have to pay somebody else.
Right. Right. And that's the key. We all trying to get ahead. So why is it that it's like you start a business, but it's like you try to break the bank off people for services? It's like, be fair, be able to help everyone. That's just like, with Show Me How. I started something to help people with, grants when the SBA was given, but it was like, there's no way I'm going to pay the same price that somebody charged me to do a PPP loan. It's just, it's impossible. I'm going to be fair.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm going to try to make it affordable.
I didn't even know people had charged for that.
Oh my goodness.
That's wild. I'd be so mad.
Oh yeah, they broke the bank off of that.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's horrible.
That was horrible because it was so easy. Once I figured it out, it wasn't even. It wasn't even that. It was. It was not the.
I'm sorry, y'all.
No,
I just am so mind blown.
No,
it's just so wrong.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it was a lot, like $2,600.
Girl, there were attorneys out here in 2018 charging people $50,000 to file their OMMA application, and I literally lost it on the internet. I'm like, this is so wrong.
Right.
Well, yeah, because I had a client who's 72 years old, and her and her husband were using their life savings, and thankfully they called around before they paid him the $50,000. But could you imagine if your grandma paid somebody $50,000 for work that you could have done for $2,500?
That's how I feel about the PPP. And I was referred to somebody about the PPP. I'm like,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Never again. Never.
But you learn. And then once you figure it out, you don't do that to your people. Like I figured it out, and all my people, not just color. When I say my people, it's you too, it's me. I don't see color, and I look at how can they get off their feet. I don't look at how can I afford a house that I want to build in Bixby, or how can I afford a house that I want to, live like the Joneses. I look at how can I afford a services where people know it's done right, and you'll come back because it's affordable. She looking at not trying to become rich off one client. People tend to think they can come rich off 5 clients. It's like, that's not what you're in it for. You're in it for because you don't want people to bake the bank off of you, off one person, and you want them to come back because you made it affordable. And that was my thing. I was like, I want to make this affordable as possible. Charge everybody a flat fee where there's no favoritism. Nobody, I'm not hooking you up, where everybody, if you do talk about me, if you're like, hey, Sonia's charging me the same price. Yes, did you get it? Yeah, I got it. And that was the deal. I wasn't charging until I got a service. Now I know that's not how a business operate because your time, but at the same time, they got a service and it wasn't just.
So Next Gen Tax was doing them for everybody for free.
No.
What?
Yeah.
The PPPs?
Yeah. Let's take a break. Let's come back. We're going to put out a disclaimer.
We're going to get a commercial break because Bobby need to pay some bills.
I'm sorry.
New construction projects are happening all around us. Are you working? Are you a dump truck owner-operator looking for work? Sign on with Last Stop Trucking, LLC, to get on our active work list. We're looking for trucks for various projects throughout Oklahoma. Email us for more information or to request a contractor pack. Last Stop Trucking at gmail.com. Let's get to work. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. Let's go!
Turn your radio on right now.
Have you heard? The new radio talk show broadcasting live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's the Refocus and Inform Radio Talk Show on KBOB 89.9 FM. Hosted by Angela K. Chambers and Sandia Bell. Everyone's talking about the new show. Tune in every Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. Central Time on local radio. KBOB 89.9 FM. Facebook Live at KBOB 89.9 or live stream at www.kbob899.com to join in on the conversation.
Let's go, come on.
Have you heard The Lowdown? One of Tulsa's favorite live music venues is back and better than ever. Lowdown, formerly known as Duet Jazz Club, is providing Tulsa with live music, comedy, community jam sessions, and more entertainment. Located at the corner of Archer and Detroit in the heart of the Tulsa Arts District, Lowdown's speakeasy-styled listening room and craft cocktail bar offers a one-of-a-kind experience where every seat feels like the front row. Check out the upcoming shows at lowdowntulsa.com.
Hey, we're back. And now, did we discuss all of the serial entrepreneurs ideas you have? Because I know, is it one more?
Yeah, the only other thing we're working on now is a bud and breakfast.
It
will not be finished for like 19 more months.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, who knew? Build out was hard and expensive. That's
what everything.
Listen, my husband and my business partner came to me like a year ago and they're like, hey, Whit, we bought a winery. And I was like, you did what? Yeah. Wow. And they did. They bought a winery. That's not even a joke. And so we closed on a winery last summer in New Yucca. Okay. And we bought it from Pete and Diane, who are the nicest humans on the planet.
Really?
Yes. Lord rest his soul, because he passed away not long after we had closed on the deal. But Diane they had moved out to California to be with their kids, and so we don't know how to grow grapes, so we don't really know how to run a winery. But we got really lucky that Cody is who runs the winery now, and so he's now getting the grapes, the vines back to where they need to be, right. And then I hired somebody that finally knows about genetics, so they can cross. Whatever the word is, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
like this with the grapes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They basically make you grapes that are fit for your conditions. Right. Is the way that I understand it. But again, y'all, I can't grow anything. Right. It is not specific to just cannabis. I can't grow grapes either.
You're preaching to the choir, because it's so sad, because when your kids you go into like Lowe's, my son goes, LJ's like, hey, don't you want to think this is the time, the season you learn how to grow some flowers? I'm like, won't you learn how to grow some flowers?
Yeah, I did that during COVID, and I wasted $700 at Lowe's because they all died. I even tried to bribe my kids $50 a week to keep the flowers alive. Nobody cares.
Oh, wow.
That's what we learned in our house.
That's what be our house.
Exactly.
They love animals, so why would I invest in flowers?
Literally.
What about you, Angela? You good on flowers?
I'm trying to keep my plant alive that from my grandmother's funeral.
Oh, okay.
And my I say my son-in-law, my son.
Okay.
He passed away, so I'm trying to keep those two alive, and they are. I guess they have like 9 lives, like a cat, because I swear they've been dead. And I brought them back. My husband wanted to throw them out. I was like, no, you can't throw them out. He's like, well, they dead. And I'm like, they're not dead. Leave them alone. And you need to pick all those brown ones off. And I'm like, we can't pick all of them off right now. Pick a little at a time. But So my family, I posted on our group page, and my family came through with some things I needed to do.
Oh, good.
So she's coming back. She's not as tall like the one my grandmother's. Not as tall as it was when I first got it. So I call myself transporting it to another pot and all that. Yeah. So I'm not the greatest, but
you try.
But they're living.
They're living.
Yeah,
I
mean, that's better than I could do.
I've had one since 2020 and one since I think 16 or 17. So I've had them,
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's a blessing because
that's it. That's all I can do.
I can't either. So out at the Bud and Breakfast, we have a show. We have a grow that you can walk through and do that. Right. Same thing. We partnered with somebody.
Wow.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'd be for the same reason. And I was like, hey friend, listen, I can't be in charge of this. Right. Or all the plants will die. Right. But theoretically, if I'm going to a Bud and Breakfast, I want to see the vineyards and I want to see the grow.
Now, is this going to be in Oklahoma?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's in Okmulgee County.
Okmulgee.
It's 42-minute drive from here. Yeah. It's not far.
No.
It's but it's you had to have somewhere that had 10 acres that I can do all the things that we want to do. So finding that inside of Tulsa is super difficult.
Oh, sure. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it was much easier to find it out there. And then we're doing container rooms, right? So each room's different themed, but they're all separate containers. So that way, if you have somebody on premises that doesn't want to medicate, then it's not a shared air system and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the main house will have the restaurant and kind of the group area hangout place. And then we're doing an in-ground saltwater pool that you can swim all year long.
Wow.
Yeah. So it'll be true destination location. Right up the street, we're building the dispensary and gas station.
Oh, wow.
So Mr. and Mrs. Jones used to have a general store, right? And they closed it 8 years ago when she got cancer. And so we're bringing it back. Same as the Jones General Store that it used to be.
Wow.
Right. Which is only fun because their last name is Jones and our last name is Jones. And so it was just kind of like this whole, it's adorable.
Yeah. Whitney's a Jones by my cousin.
That's true.
Yeah. So welcome to the family. But so that's really good. I'm inspired by you, Whitney. You carry so many multiple hats, and all for our listeners, how do you do it? I mean,
friend, you got to have a solid team.
Yeah.
That and my parents are incredible. They're like the best humans on the planet. Yeah. I mean, my husband is the best human on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
My mom and dad are supportive in a way that I could not. I mean, I just could never do the things that I do without my parents.
Right.
Right. And they're still married to each other and they ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
They're adorable.
And that's what it takes. It takes a great team. I was reading 50 Cent book, the Hustle Harder book. And man, that's all the man talked about in his book is the team. He was like, you just, you want to bring the people you grew up with, but you can't take them. It's just, you got to learn. Some of them you can and some of them you can't. It's just a great book. I read it my whole trip from Atlanta back to Tulsa, and it's so inspiring, just to see people overcome so many, because he overcome so many obstacles, where he didn't have the family support. He said his biggest fear is his family. He's like, people think I don't fear nothing, but I do. Been shot 9 times. The biggest fear I fear is my family. So it's just hard to kind of overcome so many obstacles when you do need them in your back pocket. You need a great team, whether they're not your family or not.
The thing is, from that, Perry runs operations on every business that we have. And that is just so not my thing. Yeah. Right. And here's the problem with it. Okay. I didn't understand it until probably about our 4th business when it blew up in my face really hard. Yeah. Okay. But I am the person, it's my job to do the marketing and advertising and to go get money is basically what we call it. Right. So fundraising, investors, that kind of stuff, whenever is needed. But that means that when I come up with this great idea, it just goes on the internet right now. Right. So that's how I started with IVs. I was like, hey, we're going to start offering IVs on Monday, $100.
Yes.
Right. And then people started showing up on Monday for IVs and Perry was like, what are we doing? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
Right. And so it wasn't until the last couple of years with our last few businesses that it really became like, okay, well, this is truly your zone and this is my zone. Right. And the more that we all figured out how to kind of stay in that, the better that it became.
Right.
Right. So Caitlin and Doc and Perry and I own the complex itself, and then the businesses in the complex,
right,
and then Studio 30 together, right? And so one of the things that Caitlin is incredibly great at that none of the rest of us are, Perry can see the bigger vision, but she can see the bigger vision in a way that I just literally never can, because I'm always so stuck in the weeds with the smaller problems that we have and having to deal with that.
Right.
That she has taken our businesses to levels that never even thought we could be at.
Wow. Shout out Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Yay, Caitlin, man. You can hey Caitlin, if you ever decide to leave Whitney, come work with me because I need vision people. I need a vision board that people can see everything. You know?
So good at it.
I think me and Angela tend to do it ourselves.
I'm slowing down.
That's good.
I'm making some changes. So.
Yeah. Because it can take a toll on you. It could definitely take a toll.
Girl,
on
I go to therapy twice a week.
Yeah,
so we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
like life is hard.
Yeah,
and people who tell you otherwise just lie.
Yeah,
it's just hard, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in or what business you're doing. It seems like post-COVID, everything is more difficult and everyone is meaner. And I don't even know how to describe it except to say that because I've worked in law my entire life, right? Like I worked for law firms and I've dealt with some really, really mean people.
Yeah.
But nothing like the last 2 years post-COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, literally nothing. And it's just, I don't understand it. We just all need to be so much nicer to each other.
Yeah, that's why I started off
life
the
is
show.
So
be kind.
hard.
Be kind. Be
Yes.
kind. Well, listen, we have time has gone by and we got to get out of here.
I know.
So, tell the people how they can reach you. And before we go and give us a closing.
Go slow
30
too.
seconds.
30 seconds. We'll do it. Ready?
Okay.
918-814-9036 or Whitney at thc2.com.
Okay, and that's how they can reach you for everything.
Everything.
Okay, and if you could give some encouraging words, what would you give to our listeners?
Oh, friend, be brave. Do it anyways. Jump off the cliff and just say F it, for lack of a better word.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Go with it. Yeah. Do it.
Well, thank you so much, Whitney. I really enjoyed you to come on the show, especially to all our listeners who thought about getting in the cannabis business and still have a chance until August 1st. You know, hey, reach out to Whitney, so she can help you on a lot of things that you don't know about.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, y'all.
Yay. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's been great. Check us out next Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on KBOB 89.9 FM.